Hi, I'm gonna do a celebrity reading. I haven't done one for a while. I just rewatched my Elon Musk reading because it was a long time ago, and I was kind of curious what I said. So then it made me want to do another celebrity reading, even though I don't think all the time about celebrities and stuff because I believe everybody's cool and worth talking about, but I think it's fun maybe for everybody because you know them a little bit already. It's fun for us to together think about somebody. So that's my motivation. Okay, so I've been doing straight up psychic readings for the collective lately because my stuff is still in storage, but then my daughter had this deck of cards. I was like, it's not a lot of pictures on here, but it's maybe fun just as an extra layer to have cards in on the game. Ooh, these shuffle so nicely compared to actual tarot cards. Nice. So I'll just pick some cards. We're thinking about Pete Davidson right now. Pete Davidson of the United States of America, comedian. Oops. Okay. Just I feel like I get some strong energy coming out. Feels a bit painful. Okay. Okay, maybe that's enough. I'll just do one more. I'll just cut the deck and it's what's there. Okay, Queen of Clubs. I'll put that here. And I'll put my glasses on. I'm wearing a loud jacket. So you might hear that. All right. So we have a bunch of cards here. Okay. All right. Let's do this. Queen of Swords. So we have some feminine energy with the sharp tongue. You see her eyes are just I've seen it all. What? Why are you even talking to me right now? She also looks a bit high. I guess those eyes that are when people have had marijuana, they have that look in their eye sometimes. So this could even be his energy. We all have feminine and masculine aspects to ourselves while we may appear as a gender in physical form. So I'm just gonna look at this card for a second. Okay, it's really heavy duty. I know that his father was a fireman that died at 9/11. So I just feel there's that type of heavy duty energy is really very prominent in his. It's very much there, and it's not something that you could say oh, heal that whatever. It's just no, that's just an essential. It's a part of him, and okay, and an unchangeable part of him. So it's if you're somebody that can't let him be him, and you find that he's too intense or something like that, it's it's that you don't try to change him. This is who he is, and this is his experience, and this is part of what created him, and his message, and like his whole personality is like his message and stuff. I'll just let you look at the card for a second more. So you're kind of seeing what I'm seeing here too. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna try to relax into the energy because like the energies are like a bit like emotion, but they're also like very intense. It's like, the pain, the physical pain aspect is like very profoundly present. Like the violence of it is the most prominent energy, and I would say emotion, is there, but it's like really, it's more about like the tragedy, the violence of it, and stuff like that. Okay, because he has such a dear love for his father that I'm sorry this is such an intense reading, but I guess you already know it's part of his story, but just what I'm picking up. It's very painful for him to realize that his father endured physical violence because he loves him so much and he's very dear to him. So that is like a source of, I'm not going to say anger, but just like, there's just no words for that. It's like that expression on the face is like, it's like when you've cried all the tears and thought all the thoughts, what are you left with? It's like the reality of what happened, and it's like a very upsetting situation. And he's managed to summon up, I mean, it's almost like I could do the whole reading just on this one card, but I have some other ones here, but he summoned up the courage to walk forward into life, maybe feeling like a shadow of who he was before. But it's like, I'm here, this is who I am, and I'm going to take one step at a time through life and appreciate the good. Like, it's like the queen is like holding a flower, and the queen's face is kind of like sketched out, whereas her robes are colorful. So it's kind of like he feels like he's just a sketch of the person he was, although he has this like very celebrated role to play as like bringing joy to people, being like, colorful. And it's bringing about these rewards that are also colorful, but it's like the greatest joy, was having his dad around, who like was very good to him, I feel. And it's when someone good leaves your life, it's, you feel it, and it's like very tragic. And it's kind of like, no matter how golden and beautiful life may be, it can't replace that essential relationship that was like cut short by violence and on like unnecessary, selfish, like, people can have their theories about like how it happened, who was responsible for 9/11 and stuff, and like I can pick up psychically what I believe, what I see going on, and I do see some like selfishness, greed, corruption, really kind of like business people type of vibe. And yeah, I don't want to go too deep into that because like people will get mad and write me a lot of emails, but like I'll just put it that way, and that might differ from what I just said, might differ from what's been accepted as their cause. But anyway, I'll just say that much. So, okay. So this is like his general like day-to-day vibe. And like I would say that like while marijuana is like legal right now and everything, and that because of that there's less danger around having it, like consuming it, buying it, whatever. That whole There's a safety element around that didn't exist before. And so then that might make it seem like acceptable, as it were. Nonetheless, it's like a strong herb that can take you from being like yourself in your natural form to like going on this magic carpet ride of whatever this plant's special qualities or whatever. And I feel like, dare I say, I feel like it would really benefit Pete Davidson to cut back on the use of that. And it's not for health reasons. It's to access his joy that is like naturally produced physically and just by his own thoughts. Like, I think because he feels like he's very financially like generous to his friends and stuff. His friends would be disappointed because they're like, "Where's all the free pot and stuff?" Like if let's say he quits or whatever, but that might be a good kind of like sieve to find out like who's on board and who just wants to come over and get free stuff. Like who's after my well-being and who just wants to party with me. Like moving forward into his like getting closer to his like mature years or whatever, he might enjoy like sort of flipping the script a bit on what he's been doing the last 10 years or so, like, or 12 years, whatever. Because I feel like if he continues exactly as he is right now with how much pot he's smoking and stuff, it will kind of create this like you see this like black layer on the cape. Like I kind of feel like that's shadowy, and it will create this kind of distance between his joy and just being a bit too out of body and just disconnected from himself, and that will start that sort of darkness will grow and become even more of like a chasm between like his inner child, and his reality and stuff. So I think he needs to like embrace healthy eating and some form of exercise that isn't like highly structured. It's a more joyful kind of exercise, like whatever sport you enjoy, or like just basic horsing around in the pool or sprinting with your friends and seeing who's faster. I don't know, just make it fun, but it's not like in the gym, like, okay, today we're gonna work your glutes or whatever. Like it's not gonna be scientific type of exercise. I feel it should be just like, let's tap into joyful, like inner child Pete Davidson. How does he want to play today physically in a drug-free fashion, kind of, and like discovering, like, how like pot is like a plant and like so are like fruits and stuff. So it's like maybe you're not getting the impact of like feeling different when you eat a fruit, let's say. It still does something, like the flavor, the smell, that like you get some sort of sensation off. Like you get a different feeling eating a pineapple as you do eating an apple or a banana or whatever. Like they have different vibes and like they make you feel different. So I'm I'm asking him, when are you going a culinary adventure of like getting some really cool fruits from around the world and just like trying them and like seeing what you think. And like how do they make you feel, and like even be like journal it, like have fun with that. Because like even I know this makes me kind of sad just to even talk about it, but like even if you have both your parents around, you still have to do some kind of parenting of yourself, of your inner child, to be authentic. It's like, you have the structure of your family and they raise you in a certain way with their quirky personalities, and then there's some expectation of the family to like play along and like be that guy or whatever. But then you have all your intuition that's telling you like, why don't you do this? And it's like that's really different than what my family's doing. But and then it's like there's a certain amount of answering that call that you must do in order to be a happy person. I hope my battery's charged. I can't really see anything here. Just battery panic. I can't even see. I just changed to PC and I don't really know how to use this thing yet. So who knows how much battery I have. Anyway, it's still working right now. So, okay. So back to eating fruit and like, okay. Because there's some amount of like obviously he knows himself pretty well because he's like does improv and like things would have come out in the wash like in that regard. But like those are group efforts, like working on SNL and stuff. You're being bombarded always and being in this like call and response. Sorry, just a second. Call and response type situation where you're how they call like families like schizophrenic families, like when you have to like play your role and stuff just to get along, like so there's a certain amount of that probably with the SNL job where you're literally having to play along, like it's your job. So he needs some of that like me time where no one's like expecting to be like Pete Davidson that we know and love, whatever, but it's like the sober fruit eating healthy diet guy, like who has his own thoughts for a bit, like that guy that's developing alongside of like this other sort of character that he's created to get himself through life, like having to be strong and persevering and just feeling like a cartoon, a sketch, and just like going through life and doing amazing things. Like there's a certain amount of wanting to color in these lines, like with his own personal type of joy, that is just for his benefit, Okay. For some reason, I'm drawn to like look at this Joker card because it was kind of like popping out. I'll just like show it to you. Okay. 808. I guess 808 is like a really cool, like a beat machine kind of thing. I get the feeling like he has a very like strong like technical side. Like he might be like very good at music engineering, or he's like pretty handy on the music software on his at home or something like that. More so than you would think. Yeah, almost like genius level, and dryly very like interested in electronics or how things work, or just not even like needing to know all the details of all that stuff. Like I used to date a lot of sound engineer musician people, and the pillow talk was always like guitar pickups and microphones and where to place the microphones and stuff like that. But like I don't feel like he gets into like the hyper details of that, but he's just like, let's say you put him in a room with the gear, he would just do like he would do something very good with it. Like he put him in a studio and he will emerge with like something very high quality, and without all the bells and whistles of training, he'll just make like excellent choices, I feel. And it might not even be something that people, let's say he puts stuff out, it might not even be something that people think like it's a hit, but it'll be like something that over time, even 50 years from now, they'll be like, have you heard Pete Davidson's song, whatever, or album? It's very good, or it's like ahead of its time, or something like that. So I encourage him to get into that if he's not already. Yeah, I'm like, maybe because it's like the only face card. Oh no, we have another face card here. Okay, just put on my glasses again. They're really like the stuff with his father really threw me for a loop. It's a very strong energy, as I mentioned. Okay. So then we have another queen energy here, and it's the Queen of Pentacles, like diamonds, pentacles, whatever. So we have okay, and look how like Queen of Swords or clubs, whatever you want to say. So I feel like this is him, and then we have this other queen with like a totally different facial expression. If you look at them side by side. So okay. Right. So I kind of feel like this. Okay, let me just. I don't want to just jump and say that. I just want to look at it for a second. This feels like both his mom and like the women in his life, if that makes any sense. And they're all people who appreciate like money. You know what I'm gonna say? Like pentacles. It's like the earth energy, like building. Collecting, that kind of stuff. Like the solid things, stability, like that stuff, more so than like emotions, thoughts, passion, whatever. So, and it might be because like he's kind of in this sort of dream state of having this completely different experience than most people, and his emotional self is not like the first thing that you experience, let's say. And then this is attracting people who are like, well, he might not be fully engaging in his heart space, but he's really got his stuff together. And it's like, I like that. I want to be wearing like this fancy stuff too, or whatever. I'm down with that. So it's like there's the people that he is attracting are people who like money, who like to collect, and who are pretty happy, like just vibing on that. But this is leaving him feeling a bit like empty inside, like maybe the circle, like the people he's around a lot, like are just like that, and he doesn't have a lot of variety of, because if he's not working, maybe he's just like chilling and not like trying to meet like every single human on the earth, to get all that variety. But I'll just look into it a bit more. I'm just doing a reading Hi, thanks for writing something, but I'm just gonna try to do this Pete Davidson reading right now, and I'll come back on another day and do like question answer stuff for you. Because I don't want to lose my train of thought with this Pete Davidson reading, if you don't mind. Okay. So he's sort of happy, these people are like fun and attractive and whatever, but it's not like deeply fulfilling for him. And these people are like loving the attention, loving being photographed, walking with him, whatever it might be, like the perks of being around someone who's manifested very well physical terms. I'm just gonna put this down for now because like I'll get back to it, but I'm not really like into the energy of like the kind of people he's attracting, because like I feel like they're narcissistic, and that's unhealthy. Like whatever. All right, so then we have the 10 of Pentacles. So here we have again proof that he's like doing really well financially on the earth plane, success, like top success. It's not just like 7 or 8 or 5, it's like a full 10. I'm just gonna look at the energy is so heavy duty. Oh my gosh, it's like really hard to like. I feel like I have to tiptoe around his energy so I don't like disturb him and stuff while I look at it. I don't want to, like, it's already been through enough. Okay, so I'm just looking at the 10 of Pentacles and his face on this card. Yeah, I just feel like he feels like he's the like if you're in like a running race, like a relay race where you pass the baton. I feel like he's just like the person who knows how to take the money from here and then pass it to this person. Like he's like he just feels like he's distributing wealth from A to B, and it doesn't really matter that much to him to have this power or to like be rich himself. Like his difficult situation has kind of like placed him already in this spiritual aspect that doesn't need that type of validation so much, but it's very easy for him to be like super authentic, which is worth something, because everyone has value, and because he's really tapped into his own personal value, he's become rich, and like he's been able to make other people very financially stable as a result, like in work, like but there's this sense of like being so hurt that it puts a lid on his ability to even go places in his mind. Like it's like if you're wearing a heavy hat or like a big, like a 10-gallon cowboy hat. That's what it kind of feels like, where thoughts can't even exist like inside the hat. You're just like looking through life and getting through it, and it's like I'm not dealing with all of that stuff that's going on, because it's too much. And it's like, how do you even unpack something that you can't fathom? Like how can you fathom the tragedy of those buildings being like destroyed with people inside them and stuff that people loved and stuff? So it's like hard to even go there, Okay, so that's the 10 of Pentacles card. So then we have the 3 of Pentacles, which is like starting to build something. I feel like this is about like his own kind of brand, or like, sure, like it's like SNL is kind of like going to grade school or something like that. And then it's like you kind of figure out what you want to do with yourself after that. And I feel like he's just in that process. He gets there's a lot of people in his ear about what he should do. And this advice is not helpful. Because it's kind of like taking like a screenwriting class and people are like, this is how you write a good script. And it's like, all the best filmmakers are not trying to figure out like what's popular right now. Like they're trying to break your mind with like their own thoughts and like, you know, their authenticity and stuff. So it's like you can't really take a class in that. Can you? Just like it's better just to give someone free film and a camera and just say like go. Like, so I kind of feel like he needs to just kind of find his own way. And like people can talk, but it's just like you can let them talk and let it pass by like like a dandelion fluff on a river. Just like let it pass by and be like, okay, that was your idea, and bye-bye, you know, kind of thing. But he's at the beginning stages of like building what he himself wants to create. And I feel like if he can stop, like I said, kind of medicating himself with pot or whatever, like even though that will go against like his buddy's kind of thing, it would help him figure out like, well, what do I want to build? What are the actual bricks of what I'm creating? What do they look like, and who's taking part in that, and whatever, you know. Make it quality, like make it last, you know. And you don't have to make it out of like people pleasing. And then we have 3 of sorry, normally I don't use playing cards, but it's like all the cards I have at home right now. So, so it's the 3 of Swords. I'm just gonna try to picture the tarot card, 3 of Swords. What does that even look like? It's not this one. It's 3 of Swords. So the 4 of Swords is like you're meditating. Is 3 of Swords fighting? Okay. Oh, it's the heartbreak card. Okay, right. Yeah, now there's this like weird loud song in a car outside too. I feel like whoever he was dating like talked way too much because I'm getting this like loud car outside. And made life like very like heavier than it needed to be. Because they have their own kind of drama issues thing going on. It's like having to do with being like I feel like the person he was with encountered some child sexual abuse and really has not dealt with that in a healthy way as of today. And can be very aggressive, you know, talented but aggressive in surprising ways. So that feels painful. And it was supposed to be like his home base, like his safety zone, but it turned out to be like surprisingly painful, I guess, is what I feel about this heartbreak card. So he had like a relationship that was like extremely surprisingly painful when he thought it was going to be simple. I feel like when I look at this card, I see like 1, 2, 3, and it was supposed to be just like as easy as 1, 2, 3, but it was like, ouch, oh my God, like what? Like all around surprisingly painful and not good. And it's because this person he was with is unhealed and angry at the world on some level and needing very much to turn this heart that's like stabbed with this back and like heal it back into like a red heart without this pokey thing on top of it. And that involves, you know, forgiveness, forgiving doesn't mean forgetting. It just means I am forgiving this thing that I can't deal with into God's hands, and because I know it's not my job to solve it, and it's like without that burden that you're carrying all the time, then your heart is able more to heal, kind of thing. That's like a super brief description of forgiveness, but like that's at least a step that needs to happen before unburden yourself of that, and then you're able to turn this around. Okay, so that's like a lot to deal with. Okay, and then we have the 8 of Swords. Oh my god, he has so much. Okay, when I'm done this reading, I'm just gonna send him some good energy. At the same time, as I say that, I feel like he has kind of like a bit of a Jedi like strength, like a past life, as a soul, very strong person. So maybe he doesn't need that boost, But okay, I'll just look at this 8 of Spades card. Okay. Yeah, when I look at this card, it's like the card that comes before this is like the 7 of Spades or the 7 of Swords, and it's like a huge fight, like it's a battle, and it's not pretty, and so I feel like this is like after that battle, and it's kind of like, look, guys, this is what it is. It's not peaches and cream, but it's like this is where we're at, like where it's a he sort of mastered the art of like being in these difficult situations. It's what he knows. It's his landscape. But that's really stressful too. It's not like this is not a happy card. So in order for him to get out of feeling like this, super tired and just like what, there needs to be a bit less of like this stuff of like hard stuff. Like it's good to have your purse together and everything, and you can buy groceries and fly places and have some joyful moments materially, but it's like there's this heavy business of like life that's going on at the same time. You're trying to love, but you're getting like these heavy duty situations with these extra like larger than life partners who are maybe also famous, who've been through it too, and like are maybe younger and like more of a handful than you anticipated, because people can put on a good smile for work and stuff or just to survive, but it might not be like actual happiness. Okay, and then we also have another Swords card. We have the 2 of Swords. Come here, buddy. Come on. Come on. Come here. Come on. You want to come up? Okay, maybe my dog will come up. So the 2 of Swords. It's like it's like on the tarot card, it's like a blindfolded person like holding these 2 swords up that are crossed, like can be like making a decision. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear my dog drinking. Okay, so sometimes the mic like prefers certain sounds, so like my voice might be quiet, but then you really hear the dog drinking. Okay. Both my animals seem to be like wanting to climb up on the table right now. Okay. Back to Pete Davidson. So we have this decision of like 2 different directions but he has to use his intuition to decide. It's kind of like, not to get all Jedi and stuff, but it's like in Star Wars where, like, is there a part where he's blindfolded or like he's trying to like make rocks float or something like that, like using his intuition, like learning how to strengthen that? There's a certain amount of like, when you use your intuition, the answer will just like pop into your head. Like today, I was just walking back from the dipper with a huge jug of water, and like this idea just popped into my head about like a good name for like a DJ or rapper. And I don't like actively engage in that music making right now. And I was thinking like my son has done some of that, so like I told him like, hey, why don't you call yourself this? And it's like I wouldn't have had that idea had I not been like comfortable with my intuition and just like going through the day like do and like letting stuff just drop in that make no sense to the regular world, you know, just had nothing to do with me buying water. So I kind of feel like the hard decisions he needs to make can be made, even if they seem like super challenging. They can be made like when you're like blindfolded like to what is around in the world and you're using your intuition, your third eye, like to see, right? So this is something that needs to come into play. And like, you know, I don't know everything about like what smoking does to your mind or whatever, but I know that for me to be happy and to feel connected and like the information I'm getting is good, and for intuition and the work I do, I like to be like 100% sober, and I never smoke up, I never drink, like except I might have a glass of wine on my birthday or New Year's or something, but you know, my cupboards are not full of alcohol by any means. And because I love this type of using my intuition to solve the big problems, you know, that like in having faith, like having, like if you're picturing the Two of Swords tarot card of holding up these two swords across each other and being blindfolded, it's like if you took off the blindfold, you'd just see these two things at odds with each other, completely opposite directions. Both are cutting, like it could stress you out. So you kind of have to like learn how to take time to unplug and in a sober fashion, whether it's like being in nature, whatever situation like that, where you're not like being talked to all the time, like where you're able to just have your own thoughts and connect with your own kind of dream space in a sober way. Like you'll find like really good answers for the big issues and stuff that come up, big and little. It's like, you know, sometimes the question is what am I going to have for lunch, you know, and then sometimes it's like, how do I solve this major dilemma in my life? Like they both can use intuition. All right, so then we have the Ten of Wands too. Yeah, and I feel the energy with this, like it's like the Ten of Wands is like maximum amount of passion, and it could be like other people's passion too. It's like, you know, you have your own wand, like a stick on fire, basically, like in the tarot, and but he's also surrounded by a lot of other people's passions, and it's like there's kind of no more space for more people's input on that, and like trying to it's one thing to feel like a spark. It's another thing to feel surrounded by the heat of everybody else's intense desires to like make stuff happen either with you or, you know, around you or something. It's just like, you know, you're going to get like a bit sweaty. It's going to be a bit too much heat, right? Having all these passions like packed tightly together, you know, while it may be interesting, it might be overwhelming. So it might make him again like really tired to like feel like he needs to please everybody and cater to satisfying the passions in their life one way or the other, when it's, you know, when he himself feels depleted and like a shell of, you know, who he once was, maybe as a kid or whatever. So people need to respect his path in life and to like not be greedy, not take from him just because he's generous doesn't mean you have to take him up on that. Like maybe give him you know, realize that like okay, like if he's gonna date like women his age or like a bit younger than him and stuff, they're gonna be still in that kind of like immature energy of like maybe they've got their talents in line and stuff, but maybe they don't like know themselves deeply enough to have it not like affect other people in their lives in a negative way. Let's say. Like some older people can sometimes temper their aspects that would normally be like a tsunami hitting their partner. Like it can be like a calm sea, you know, let's say. Instead, like sure, it's deep and there's stuff going on and there's like sharks under the water and stuff, but there's the waves aren't crashing all the time. So yeah, and some of that like fiery temper can lead to some heartbreak and stuff when it's just like too much and like people don't know when to back off or give him space or, you know, allow him time to like sleep in or like any, I don't know, like are there too many people around him all the time? Then we have the Four of Wands. Okay, so Four of Wands, generally speaking, is like some people call it like the marriage card. Like there's like the Four of Wands holding up a canopy under which people could get married and stuff. So it's, it can also mean just like creating. Oh, what do you think? Okay, where's the dog barking? Dr. Disco, come. I don't know why he's loud all of a sudden. It usually has something to do with the reading, like when the animals are acting up. So maybe there's someone pressuring him to like get married. Just 1 second. Who are you? Come on, stop being crazy. I'm gonna like throw a grape down the hallway. See if it makes some fun. Alright. So this kind of marriage theme type of card made the dog freak out. So like I'm guessing that someone is just like, I don't know if he's dating someone right now. I never read the news. I'll just see what I pick up when I look at the card too. I feel like he has a choice of like a couple people who are like physically very beautiful. And he's kind of like holding his, so to speak, cards close to his chest here, like knowing he has the power in this situation. Do you want to come up? Do you want another grape? And And they're kind of like quietly being, the women are quietly being like pissed off that like they have to pretend like everything's chill. But they really want him to decide and pick them because they feel worthy, and they're like spending a lot of money trying to like stay beautiful and stuff. So it's like they want results. And I do feel that he's like charming and funny and stuff, and they like that about him. So there is like genuine friendship between them. But I don't, as if I need to put my glasses on to see this more clearly, but like, I don't know myself. Wait. Okay. So, anyway, I feel like his friends or his buddies are pressuring him to choose this one girl because it's like this club is like close to this one, and they're like, "Hey, and then there's this other one that's like a bit further away, and this one, the other woman seems that his friends aren't as into. Seems like really business minded and would love to like open her own store, or like she's really business minded. So she likes the fact that he's like has a lot of money and stuff, because then that would like facilitate her having the business and the, you know, Instagram influencer thing going on. I don't know. It's not like I'm hoping the subject matter of this reading takes a turn that's like more interesting to me than this card. Okay. Maybe it's just because I'm reading like these young women and they haven't like lived enough that it's like interesting for me to even think about. Okay. I'll just try to calm down. But I feel like the one that the friends like could potentially cheat or like flirt. Maybe the reason why the friends like her is because like she flirts with his friends. You know what I mean? Like the propensity of like cheating is possible with this one, and with a business-minded person, they are capable of creating like a stable home life, but they're not like super emotional, and they're more into like themselves, like you know, like I guess like a narcissist, like they're not supposed to be have a lot of empathy, but they love like being loved, I guess. And that's very satisfying to them, like getting the attention and whatever. So I feel like he has a choice between someone who strays or is like dangerously flirtatious and possibly strays, and then the other one is like a narcissist. They're both beautiful women. I don't know. So I would just like, yeah, my feeling from him is that he's just like, I don't have the power to take either one of these as my partner. I'm thinking about it, and he's kind of feeling a bit like, aren't I lucky? But at the same time, are you? Because like in my mind, like neither one of them is like that cool. But it's not that fun to be cheated on, and it's not that fun to be used for finances either. So I wouldn't wish that on anyone. I'm just gonna put these cards aside for a moment, and I'm just gonna randomly pick some other cards. Wow. Okay, so we have the Ace of Diamonds, which is again like Pentacles, like the Earth energy, like money energy, like a brand new situation coming up, which is nice. It's like a stable, a new form of stability. Oh my gosh, a new form of stability coming up with Pete. And let me just think about what that is. Wow, it just feels like a wonderful creative project. People are in his ear about like what he should make in terms of a project, but like F that, I feel like. And just do what makes you Oh my gosh. Don't bark at the cat. What makes you happy, Pete? Like, what would make you laugh? What makes you laugh? And like, what makes you happy? And just do that, and don't even think twice about like pleasing other people in that regard. And you'll love what you made. Because you have the opportunity and the financial freedom to do that. I mean, anyone can make a film just with their phone nowadays, so it's like, but he has access to things like crew and good microphones and stuff, so, and lighting, like, why not, right? So even if you have to like film it in like another country to get away from your friends, do that. Do what's meaningful to you. Like, I don't know what I'm thinking of this director, but like, forgive me if I get it wrong, but I think his name was like Abbas Kiarostami or something. I think he's Iranian, and he has some like really sweet movies. Like, and there's one that like really sticks in my mind, even though it's like technically like kind of boring to watch, but like it's very moving. And then at the end of it, like this guy's like lying in a dusty kind of ditch, and it's just like, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like so personal and like meaningful and stuff. Like, so it's like, I feel like do something like that, even if you're like going to like Sri Lanka or Saudi Arabia, or I don't know where, like just like far away from the United States, and make something cool that you actually want to make. You know, it's kind of like journaling, but like with film. You know, it's the kind of thing that like Criterion would jump all over. I would watch it. Like what I'm picking up like is something that I would want to watch. Okay. So there's a certain amount of living you have to do without your like present like group of like your present entourage. Okay. And then we have the 7 of clubs, which is the 7 of wands, which is like people's passions like at odds with each other. But at the same time, if you're not like hypersensitive, you're just like, this is my idea. Well, this is my idea. It's like, it's just like a bunch of passionate people with strong ideas in the same room, like whatever. And it doesn't have to necessarily stress you out, but it's certainly active. And you're like, you could be clashing ideas or just like throwing ideas around, but it just feels like it's fun. You're making money, but it's also stressful. I feel there's a certain amount of like needing to connect with your own energy. You know, it's kind of like you've been on like fast forward since you're young. You have to work into your life like this kind of like self-nurturing that isn't like medicated. It's not like with a bunch of people, like, who am I? You know, it's like you're going to figure out who you are by taking these 10 days like in another country and just like filming mangoes on a tree or whatever it is, like whatever. Stop barking at the cat. Like whatever it is that like floats your boat, like and you don't, your film doesn't have to make sense. It can just be what you made at that time. And that's enough. You're enough. You're always enough, and you're always perfect. And your life is valuable and beautiful, and whether it feels like it in the moment or not, if you look at it slightly differently, it's a celebration, like at every moment. So like, just in order to see things through your own goggles instead of the goggles of your friends or your employers and stuff, or your fans, you need to feel how it looks to look through your own eyes, you know, what I feel like. All right, let's do a couple more cards because I'm like going on. How long is this? I've been talking for almost an hour and 5 seconds. Okay, so just I'll have mercy on you. Just two more cards. So then we have the Three of Hearts, which is Three of Cups. What does that look like? That's like celebrating. Some people say like it's like, oh, there's a third party, but I kind of feel like for Pete Davidson, like he's not stressing over whether there's like too many cooks in the kitchen. Let's say dating wise. Okay. So I feel like we're moving into the future here, like 2 months ahead, whatever. We're like beginning of October now. So that takes us to December. I feel like in December he'll have this like wonderful like love energy around him that will feel very different than that very dark and scary relationship he had with someone who was unhealed. Wherever that card is. Oh my gosh. Whatever. Anyway, that was like the Three of Spades. What do you want? Oh. And sorry. My dog. He's a very cute chihuahua, but he's at nighttime he gets a bit like hyper. December looking good for love and stuff. And maybe that's happened. I don't know what his work schedule is like right now, but like let's say he was able to take like a couple of good moments between now and then to have that me time. This is what will set the stage for like actual love and celebration. Ouch, to come in. Why does my hand hurt all of a sudden? I felt like a bee sting. It's weird. Maybe someone's mad. Maybe he's dating. Oh yeah, he's dating those two other people who are not good for him. They're mad that he might fall in love with someone else. So okay. But it's like the way to like find good people is to like fall in love with yourself, nurture yourself, and just be like, oh my god, like you're killing it today. in that plain white t-shirt, you're just like, oh my god, like just really self-love between now and December, and then you'll find that you're attracting like a better type of relationship that loves themselves enough that they don't want to like oppress you because they want a good life. They're not like scared of not having enough and needing to like throw the yoke around you to like be able to live well, you know what I mean? So like you're gonna attract by engaging in self kindness and nurturing and just being interested in yourself and how you feel and like, why do I do that? Like why do I stand that way, or why do I say these types of things to people, or why am I writing that skit or whatever? Like what does that say about just be really interested in yourself? And then sorry, I just picked up the Two of Hearts randomly. So maybe, so this celebration, being around people of like a higher vibration, because you've raised your vibration by being more loving to yourself, you're going to attract this actually good relationship that is love-based. And love, I don't mean like romantic, I mean unconditionally loving. It's like you're both being loving to yourselves, right? There's you and there's the other person, and you're like reflecting your reflections of each other, self-loving together, if that makes any sense. All right. And then okay, I'm hearing talking and stuff. Okay, let me just, what am I picking up about? Because when I looked at this card, I'm like, yeah, so this is the Ace of Swords, so it's like the truth. Sorry, wait. Yeah, no. Clubs. The clubs are wands. So this is like a brand new, passionate beginning. And I don't know if he's like attracted particularly to singers and stuff, but I feel like it's noisy. Either the person likes to talk or they like to sing, or like it's like the volume is up, or they have a lot to say or something like that. Maybe it's another young woman. um, so, okay. It's a firecracker of a person, and but it's like a loving firecracker of a person to meet like potentially in December. Um, don't be like it's December 1st. Where is she? Like I feel like it could be like the 18th, or when people start having Christmas parties, it's like after the 15th, generally speaking. So it'd be like a situation like that where everyone's kind of like dressed up and wearing perfume and the lighting is kind of dim and giving everyone the, the benefit of the doubt in terms of their appearance. Yeah, it's just like someone funny and charming and maybe not like a model but like beautiful in their own way, and feels like home, or like feels like you'd want to make brunch for this person at home type of thing. Okay. All right, so then, yeah, and the Four of Cups comes up next. So it's like this would mean moving on from some situation you're in right now, from one place to another, one person to another, or one type of like one mentality, or you're changing things about your life. That's kind of sweet. I want to really I'm just gonna stop using the cards for a second and just like psychically try to pick up things that will benefit him. Because I feel like the types of energies that came through in the cards were like women wanting to be in his life one way or the other, and like maybe they're doing a lot of like manifesting or manipulative work to kind of like be first in line, like energetically, that kind of thing. So I'm just gonna like tune in. I know I look silly closing my eyes, but it's just easier for me to concentrate. I'm just gonna think about like Pete Davidson and what would benefit him. I mean, I know he's already, from the very little bit I know about him, he's done a lot of inner work and stuff about his feelings, and he's very aware that he has these strong feelings and stuff, and it's like he's vocal about it. But that doesn't mean that it's all functioning well, like within inside him. And I'm getting like, how emotions are like watery, like, and I'm just reminded of like the hot springs in Iceland, like the Blue Lagoon, I guess it's called. Stuff like that, like experiences like that, where he's just surrounded by like nurturing, like just how emotions can feel watery. You can place yourself in actual soothing water to feel better, and it kind of like mellows out those vibrations within you of emotions to like kind of match the water, if you want, if I may. And so if there's any opportunities for him to be in other kind of like natural hot springs, I don't feel like just taking a bath is like enough. There's some like, life is bigger than New York City type of thing, like where and it's not about meeting the people of Iceland necessarily. Like you could maybe go there like on the sly, like to not be discovered so much, or maybe people are polite enough there that they leave him alone. That would be cool. Anyway, just him having like a beautiful, relaxing time in like that kind of nurturing water, like for example, Blue Lagoon or something like that. Or maybe he can like rent a private Greek island when the ocean is warm, or there's like a warm pool there or something. And just like that idea of like nature healing him, but like water nature healing him, I feel like is really good for him. Any other? It's like it's like putting more data in the hard drive, because like right now he's got a lot of data in his brain about like what happened, and he's constantly reminded of that, like being in New York City. That might be actually really difficult for him to be constantly reminded of what happened and stuff. So to be in another country and like experience making new memories, making new physical memories. Like I remember feeling so soothed and warm and healed in this water in Iceland or wherever, like just somewhere not New York City, That's one thing that comes up. I feel also that like if you've been, I'm sorry to be like push nature so hard on Pete Davidson, but like if he could buy like a cabin in the Adirondacks or something, or just like a getaway place like that, that is meant for him to like feel good about himself. This, it has like a purpose like that. It's not just a random place where like 10 friends can show up in the middle of the night with food and drinks or something like that. Like, I'm not saying don't have any friends, but like the purpose of this cottage is just like it's not that far from New York City, but it's like a getaway to be able to make new memories with nature that like supports us physically, because I feel like his physical body is in such a state of panic, and that's why he's doing self-soothing with like smoking pot or whatever, or like constantly keeping his mind like stimulated, or like making people laugh, or just like this on kind of like feeling. His body needs to sometimes, like I find like if I'm in the country where it's like really natural, even just 1 hour of that, I feel like everything gets reset to like factory setting and I just feel right again. And I feel like he needs a bit more of that. Like, and so this cottage, or like he's rich, so he can afford like a nice house, like in the country, in the woods kind of thing. That a retreat he can go to, and then these trips to like beautiful, nurturing places on Earth where he's not like bringing 15 friends with him, where he can let his body like recalibrate and like come back to where it's comfortable. Because like the word disease is like like pain. It's like there's the word ease is in disease, so it's like not at ease, like. And so the way to be healthy is to like feel at ease, and like one way to do that is to be in soothing situations, which like are natural, not chemically induced, like being in warm, beautiful hot springs, or like being in a beautiful forest where you're not going to be overstimulated by bunch of people and stuff like that. I'll just come up with one more helpful message for Pete Davidson or something. I really feel strongly, and this has come up a few times in the reading, don't like bend to people's will about the kind of projects you should make. I mean, even when before you made it, you were kind of following your own muse, and that's what made you who you are. And don't give that aspect, don't give that power away to people who just like want a piece of your pie and stuff, or a percentage of the gross or whatever. Like, make art that's meaningful to you, that maybe you don't even fully. Sorry, why are you making noise? Maybe you don't even fully understand it yourself, but it just feels right, or it's like what you want to do right now. And other people are just gonna have to like deal with that. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like if you bend to people's will, you'll be really upset with what you ended up making. It's kind of like, I'm gonna compare it to Wayne's World. Okay, like Mike Myers is like I'm in Canada right now. I grew up in Toronto. We're the same exact age, but I think because he lived in Scarborough and I was in Toronto, like our paths didn't cross that much. But anyway, like maybe we walked by each other on Yonge Street or at the CNE or something, or rode a bus. But I didn't know him. Anyway, but I'm just saying, like Wayne's World, if like Dana Carvey wasn't forced to be in the movie, if like is that right? Yeah. And like, okay, I'm getting my head scrambling, but like I feel like there's part of Wayne's World that's like really authentic, and then there's part of it that's just stupid. Like, and I feel like the industry kind of like forced his hand in some ways to like make it conform to whatever. Like that would never happen today. Like, because like the stuff you see on YouTube or that people make themselves doesn't conform to some kind of like, this is what's successful. Like, so don't have that like Wayne's World kind of like like, you know, aspect where things just are muddled like out of fear of like wanting to make back the money you put into it. What if you made something like awesome that didn't make money for 200 years, but it was great, you know, like like do that. Anyway, like don't let people force you to make stuff. Like, don't let them steal your free will, you know. Like, that's your gift, you know. Your treasure chest is like making what you want out of your life instead of like being the servant to like other people's vision and stuff like that. So that's like a warning, I feel, to be just like really get into being genuine self-love and like making some cool projects that are meaningful to you. And yeah, and the key to like good romance is like really being interested and like affectionate, like to yourself first, so that you're not like going into relationships craving that type of admiration or support like from somebody else. You enter a relationship all loved up to max, you know, and then you just like share being awesome with somebody else who's also loved up to the max, and you just like have fun together. Like that's a better relationship thing rather than like you know, having someone hype up your ego, like your what do they call that? Like some word they use. like love bombing. Like, yeah, like you're not getting love bombed. You know, be suspicious of love bombing. Be suspicious of people who come to you like, oh my god, you're so great. Like, you know, it should really feel more like two kids in a playground, just like, you know, wanting to, you know, build a sandcastle together or something like that. Like, instead of like going, like when you're a little kid, you don't go up to someone like, oh my gosh, you're so, well, maybe they do, but they don't hype each other up. They just start parallel playing, and it's just like, it's more natural, and stuff like that. So, I wish you the best, and I hope this reading was, I know it was super long. I hope it was entertaining, at least for whoever is tuning into it. And, people can send some good vibes to Pete Davidson. Although I was feeling earlier in the reading, like he, spiritually speaking, he's like very advanced type of person. And maybe doesn't need that support, but like, anyway, it's cool to observe your energy, and I'll do another reading sometime. And for the people who usually tune in and get like free psychic like answers when they text stuff in the chat, like I'll do that in the next couple of days. All right, bye.